Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Listen, the Blue Jays are about to make a move that's going to send shockwaves through the entire league, and some brand new reports just dropped that completely change everything we thought we knew about their pursuit of Kyle Tucker. Multiple credible sources are now confirming not just Toronto's interest, but something we haven't heard before: how Tucker himself actually feels about potentially joining the Blue Jays. This is massive, and we're breaking it all down right now, plus everything you need to know about the Okamoto signing and what it means for the rest of this offseason. So Robert Murray, who's one of the most reliable insiders in baseball right now, came out last night with some absolutely huge information. He straight up said he believes the Jays are still very much in play on both Tucker and Bregman. But here's the kicker: Kyle Tucker is interested in the Jays just as much as the Jays are interested in him. Think about that for a second. This is the first time we're hearing Tucker's side of things from a legitimate source, and it's incredibly encouraging. Murray also mentioned that Ross Atkins is very good at his job, and he doesn't think they're done making moves. This isn't coming from some random blogger or a speculation piece. Robert Murray has broken multiple signings already this offseason. He's right up there with the top-tier reporters, and when he speaks, you need to listen. After the Okamoto signing became official, there was this immediate assumption that Toronto was done, that they'd spent their money and were moving on from the big names still available. That narrative is completely falling apart now. The mutual interest between Tucker and Toronto is huge because it means we're not just looking at a team throwing money at a player who has no desire to be there. This is a legitimate match on both sides, and that's when things get really interesting. Mark Feinsand confirmed yesterday that the Blue Jays remain the favorites to land Kyle Tucker. Now, the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers all have continued interest, but here's what matters: Toronto is still at the front of the line. Feinsand also noted that if the Yankees are going to spend big, it's probably going to be on Bellinger rather than Tucker, which takes one major competitor out of the equation. The Mets can't be completely counted out because they need outfield help, and Steve Cohen has unlimited resources, but we'll get to that in a minute. Jim Bowden came out and clarified something really important. The Okamoto signing doesn't take Toronto out of the race for Tucker or Bregman, but it does mean they're probably not doing both Tucker and Bregman together. They could still get one or the other, though. Honestly, getting Tucker or Bregman along with Okamoto would still be an absolutely incredible offseason. The dream scenario of landing multiple superstars at once might not happen, but one more big bat changes this entire lineup. What's interesting is how the noise has shifted. As each day passes since the Okamoto signing, things are getting quieter on the Bregman front and louder on the Tucker front. Whether that's intentional misdirection or actual movement in negotiations, the pattern is clear. Reports from multiple sources keep bringing us back to Tucker and Toronto. Now, Ben Nicholson-Smith did throw a bit of cold water on things, which he tends to do since he works for Sportsnet. He pointed out that the Jays have already outspent every team in baseball and landed 4 of the top 15 free agents. He suggested they might be more likely to lurk rather than lead a bidding war at this point, especially with the Mets potentially willing to outbid everyone. But here's the thing: Will Salmon, who's the top reporter for the Mets and New York teams, said that New York will check in on Tucker, but only if his market isn't what he wants it to be. They could swoop in with a shorter deal at a high annual value, but they're not planning to lead the bidding war. That brings us right back to Toronto being the favorites. Think about what a roster with Tucker would look like. You'd have Okamoto at third base, Tucker in left field, Dalton Varsho in center, and Springer splitting time in right field. That's an incredibly deep and talented lineup. Tucker is such a complete player. The power, the speed, the defense, the consistency. He changes everything about this offense. Yes, someone like Bregman makes sense too, but with Okamoto now in the mix as an infielder, Tucker feels like the better fit, especially since Okamoto is officially listed as a third baseman for Toronto. Even if they don't land another big bat, this is already an elite offseason. 4 of the top 15 free agents is incredible. But adding Tucker takes it from an A to an A++ situation. You're looking at a completely transformed roster that can legitimately compete with anyone in the American League East. The current projected opening day roster without Tucker still looks really good. Springer, Horwitz, Guerrero, Santander, Kirk, Barger, Okamoto, Clement, and Jimenez. That's a competitive lineup. Are they better than last year? Maybe not quite, since you're essentially replacing Bichette with Okamoto. But if Santander bounces back and Okamoto performs as expected, this team can absolutely compete. You have to account for potential decline from Springer given his age, but then you also have to consider Barger potentially breaking out even more, and Jimenez improving on what was an underperforming season relative to his underlying statistics. The key thing everyone needs to understand is that Toronto isn't done. They've been aggressive all offseason, they've shown they're willing to spend, and now we have multiple credible reports saying that Kyle Tucker has genuine interest in joining this team. That's not something you ignore. The waiting game continues, but all the signs are pointing towards something big potentially happening. Ross Atkins is meeting with the media today, and we're going to hear directly from the front office about their plans moving forward. Hopefully, he doesn't shut down speculation about Tucker or Bregman entirely, but we'll find out soon enough. Okamoto is also meeting with media, which should give us some insight into how this signing came together and what role he's expected to play. The bottom line is this: Toronto has had an incredible offseason already, and they might not be finished. The Tucker connection is real, the interest is mutual, and they're still considered the favorites despite competition from deep-pocketed teams. Whether they land him or not, what Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro have done this winter has completely changed the trajectory of this franchise. They've proven they're willing to be aggressive, they're not afraid to spend money, and they're building a roster that can compete right now. Adding Tucker would be the cherry on top of what's already been a fantastic offseason, and based on everything we're hearing, it's absolutely still possible. The next few days and weeks are going to be crucial, but right now, there's real reason for optimism about where this team is headed.